Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Schuyler Callihan here. Another episode of Between the Ears. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I've got to admit, I've got to get this off my chest. I've been getting all of these comments on Facebook, or not, maybe not necessarily on our articles, but I've seen it all over the place. And not really on any particular topic, just random comments on articles about the football team or even the basketball team, and just the feeling that West Virginia could never win a national championship. They could never be Big 12 champions. They could never get to a New Year's Six bowl and win one, and they could never get to the college football playoff, or the it'll be another 50 years before they get back to the Final Four. And here's my thing. Although I understand the odds of those things happening are very not in West Virginia's favor, why not West Virginia? And maybe this is just me, someone from West Virginia, having grown up in West Virginia, lived the first 18 years of my life in West Virginia. I'm somebody that when you tell me I can't do something, I'm bound and determined as all hell to prove you wrong. And that kind of stuff pisses me off. And again, that's probably the West Virginian in me, because we're always told that we can't do anything, we're never amount to anything, and that's just kind of the reality of the situation. But seriously, though, think about it for just a second. Football specifically. Why not West Virginia? Why can't West Virginia win the Big 12? Why can't they go to the college football playoff? It's not like they've never sniffed it. It's not like this is Vanderbilt or Rutgers in the modern era of college football, that is, not the Rutgers from the early 1900s when they were winning big games and, I don't know, maybe winning a national championship back in 1903 or whatever. But why not West Virginia? That is my serious question to all these folks that, and this is even coming from West Virginia fans, some West Virginia fans. Why do you not have that hope? I don't think it should be an expectation by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, because when you look at it, all these rosters across college football, clearly West Virginia is at a disadvantage, but they've been close before. Even in this new era of NIL, portal, all that crap, it's very much possible that they could get to the college football playoff, especially now more than ever. 12 teams in the damn thing, not just four, where it catered to, 6 or 7 schools? There's 12 teams that get into this thing starting in 2024. And oh, by the way, this is the best team that Neil Brown's had, at least on paper, going into 2024. Coming off a 9-win season, a year in which they were supposed to finish dead freaking last in the Big 12. So I'm not saying that this should be an expectation, but I've seen it on Twitter, X, whatever we want to call it, not so much from West Virginia fans, but people just not even thinking about West Virginia and all the Big 12 conference championship dark horses and all this stuff. And there's not one mention of West Virginia. Why? A 9-win season after they just were picked 14th with a quarterback no one knew hardly anything of outside of the state. Now everybody knows the kid. But they're still not getting recognition. Again, I'm not saying they should be picked to win the dang thing, but to not even be in the conversation, that is what should be the driving force of this season in 2024. Just like 14 was this past year. I don't get it. Every single era there has been of college football, West Virginia has not only been competitive, but have been in the national picture at some point. At least in my lifetime or a little before my lifetime. You go back to the 80s when things really started to get going, right? Don Nehlen takes the team to the national championship. 1993, undefeated season, gets screwed out on a national title game for Florida State, but still, you're in the national picture. 2007, we know what happens, but even the first half of the season in 2012 with Gino and Tavon Stedman, all those guys, right? Even the first half of maybe even 2018 with Will Greer, they were in the national picture. If just a couple of different things go their way, it's a different ball game in each of those seasons. More specifically, 2007. But I guess what I'm getting at is here: why is the narrative that West Virginia could never accomplish such a thing as winning a Big 12 championship or getting to the college football playoff? I mean, what's the argument behind that? Again, this is not Vanderbilt. It's not Rutgers. It's not Kansas, even though they're the new darling of college football. But why? They've been in the top 10 multiple times. They've been in the top 10 within the last decade. So why would they not be able to get there now? The other part of this is West Virginia has one of the most passionate fan bases in all of sports, not just college, all of sports. And now we're transitioning into an era in which the fans are going to have just as every bit of power in their team's or school's success as ever because of the NIL stuff, right? Fans own businesses. And if fans that don't own businesses, they can chip in by donating to the trust, signing up for a membership. And it's not to say that there wasn't that avenue in some way before with the MAC, but it's out in the open, right? It's free game now. So why wouldn't one of the most passionate fan bases in all of sports not be able to give these athletes a terrific foundation and a terrific pool of money or resources that can draw those guys, those types of championship level players to Morgantown? Why would that not be able to happen? I think that's the one thing that's getting lost in all this. And I get that, West Virginia is not the most wealthy state. We all understand that. But there's a difference here, right? Because just because you're not the most wealthy state doesn't mean that you're not willing to give $20 a month to your favorite team or whatever the rate is. 1867, I think it might be. But when you talk about how much this school and these athletic teams mean to the people in this state, it's on another level. I'm not suggesting this, but I'm saying there will probably be some people out there say, we're going to be living pretty tight paycheck to paycheck, but if I could just give $18.67 to WVU athletics every month or to the trust or whatever it is, the whole setup, might do it because it impacts my mental health. Seeing West Virginia win makes me feel better. That's something that West Virginians probably battle, right? Might live paycheck to paycheck, but and even though 18 or $20 isn't really a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, every little bit counts. But every little bit counts also for the trust. And there's a lot of those fans that would say, you know what? I'd be willing to make things a little bit tighter if it meant West Virginia being really good. And I think that just speaks volumes to the passion of this fan base, to how much this team means and how much this university means to the people in this state. It's not just another school. You go anywhere else around the country and you're not going to have that type of feel toward a school. This isn't the school. I'm just going to be 100% upfront here. West Virginians don't look at WVU and the athletics program as just a school and its school's athletics, right? It is the professional team of this state. It's what West Virginians live and die on. It's what makes and breaks their weeks. So again, I'll ask you the question. Why not West Virginia? Why could they never get to a Big 12 title? Why could they never get to college football playoff? Or get close to being in the national conversation for the championship? And I know you're going to say coaching. I get that. That's a major part of it as well. But we are also coming again off a season where the coach was on the hot seat, picked 14th, and won 9 games. With a roster that was fully his, and for the first time in his tenure was able to retain a big portion of his team. So this is going to come down to fans. It's going to come down to the passion of the fans. And if we're in this new era, I'm not betting against West Virginia fans. I'm just not. Because the power of the fan base is, I just don't think a lot of people understand it. I don't think a lot of people understand how powerful West Virginians can be. And that's why I think it is not crazy at all to think Big 12 championship, college football playoff, national championship, Final Fours, College World Series, that those things are unattainable. They are. And especially in this new era where the fans can really be the driving force behind this thing and give everything they need resource-wise to these athletes and make West Virginia the most attractive place as possible. So I don't know. Maybe I just had to get that off my chest a little bit, but I'm somebody that if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be doing everything I can to try and prove you wrong, just like West Virginians do every single day when they go to work. And I think the same way about this team, its fan base. I think they can prove everyone wrong and get this athletic program to heights we've never seen before. I think we can see it across every sport. We've already seen it in men's soccer, right? We're seeing it right now in women's basketball. Mark Kellogg's got that thing rolling. Women's soccer has been dominant for a long time. We've seen success in men's basketball. We've seen success in football. I think you're going to start to see it globally. So, again, why not West Virginia? Bet against West Virginia? I'm not in the business of doing that. Not for, again, not every year. That's not every year's expectation. But saying they could never do that is silliness. And more specifically, again, to this year, it's possible. Absolutely 100% possible. Likely, that's another conversation. But anyways, that'll do it for me here today on Between the Ears. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. Give us a like and also a follow on X at the same handle, Mountaineers Now. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode.